Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Maria Sernalipa. Today I will present a feminist literary criticism analysis by Dr. Wissal Yusuf Ali from the Academic Journal of Research and Scientific Publishing, November 2024. This research examines three classical works, Pride and Prejudice, Othello, and Expectations through modern feminist theory, revealing how they reflect patriarchal structures and how female characters navigate gender constraints. Thus, background of the study. Classical literature contains gender dynamic and patriarchal structures that are often overlooked or accepted as natural. Research objectives analyze the representation of female characters in classical texts, reveal patriarchal framework embedded in narratives, connect historical gender struggles with contemporary debates. Methodology offers feminist literary criticism, technique close reading and textual analysis, theory intersectionality, and gender performativity, and Judith Butler. The study explored how classical literature reflects gender norms and patriarchal ideologies that were often ignored. The objectives are to analyze female character representation, uncover patriarchal framework, and connect historical gender struggles with today's debates. The methodology used feminist literary criticism below course reading and textual analysis. It enables categories, threshold, intersectionality with subgender, interests with race and class, and Butler, gender performativity, which argues gender is social performs, not biological instincts. Their canonical texts were chosen for reinterpretation. Evolution of feminist literary criticism. Three waves of feminism. First wave, 1800 to 1920. Focus suffrage education, basic rights. Key figure Virginist Woolf a room of one own. Second wave, 1950 to 1970. Focus systemic critique of patriarchal institutions. Key figures Simone de Beauvoir, the second sex. Key figure Elaine Solver, Syncretism. Third wave, 1919 focus intersectionality, gender, race, class, sexuality. Key figures Kimber, Crenshaw, Gender, and subgender as performativity not essential. Feminist criticism evolved through three waves. First wave focused on basic rights like suffrage. Woolf argued women needed financial independence to write. Second, with critical systematic inequalities, the behavior said one is not born but becomes a woman. Femininity is socially constructed. So Walter developed gynocriticism. focusing on women as writers. Third, we've introduced intersectionality, gender interests with race, class, sexuality. Butler argued gender is performative, repressed social behaviors, not enhanced identity. Transformation of literary criticism. Six-way feminine transformism transforms literary criticism. 1. Challenging the traditional canon. 2. From objectivity to subjectivity. 3. Intersectionality gender interacts with face, class, sexuality. 4. Reinterpretation symbols, domesticity, confinement, not comfort. 5. Political nature of literature. Literature can reinforce or challenge power structures. 6. Documenting make conflict narratives, shifting focus to women's perspective. Feminism transformed literary criticism in six ways. First, it challenges the male-dominated canon and includes forgotten women writers. Second, it shifts from claiming objectivity to following women's subjective experience. Third, it introduced intersectionality, analyzing how gender interacts with race and class. Fourth, it reinterprets symbols like domesticity as confinement, not comfort. Fifth, it so literates political nature text, reinforce of challenge powers. Sixth, it decenters male narrative and focus of woman perspective. Pride and Prejudice, John Austen. Elizabeth Bennet, subverting social expectation, character analysis, subversion of marriage. Rejects Mr. Collins despite overall economic security, critique of marriage as economic transformation, transaction, marriage there see based on love and equality. Gender and class critique, independent, intelligent woman challenging male security, authority, face double barriers, gender and social class, progressive character for Victorian era. Elizabeth Elizabeth Bennet rejects Mr. Collins despite financial security, forcing to marry without love. She critiques she critiques the system treating women as commodities. Her marriage to Darcy is based on quality, not reception. She is intelligent and outspoken, challenging male authority. She faced double barriers, gender and lower class. When Darcy proposes urgently, she rejects him, asserting her worth. Austen used irony to express patriarchal absurdities, and so that men like Darcy must learn quality. Othello, William Shakespeare. The Magic Feminists subject three female characters. Desdemona, tragedy of silence. Her voice is not just the bed, her mother, literal silence of women in patriarchal world. Othello throws the logo over its this our wife. Emilia, voice of restaurants. questions double standard about fidelity. Women have the same desires as men, murdered for dating patriarchal norms. Bianca, marginalization of class and gender, as a quarters experience objectification and disdain. Critic of exploitation of lower class women. His demon voice is its nar despite its innocence. Othello truthful go over his wife. Her murder is literally lynching woman. Emilia questions why men can have affairs, but women are convinced denounce Lorgo and is murdered for speaking truth. Bianca Ascars doesn't face objectification. Her feelings are diminished because of her profession, solving class and gender oppression. The tragedy system from male misogyny and Othello racial inequality listing legal conditions. Great Expectation, Charles Dickens. Estella the Feminist Dilemma, product, product of patriarchal manipulation. Relate, relate by, relate by Miss Alison as Lord Fans, trying to break men's hearts without emotional atonement, like autonomy thus aspiring powerful. Critical analysis, beauty of Stroll use beauty to manipulate but impressions herself. Critic of woman's objectification. Emotional elimination, inability to love, consequence of patriarchal system. Women's worth means were but useful to men. Resistance and tragedy rejects traditional roles but becomes becomes isolated and un, unfulfilled. The rejects efficient purpose highlight of patriarchal control. Estolette is raised by misrepresentation as weapon against men, despite appearing powerful, she lacks autonomy controlled by revenge. Her beauty is boastful and present. She uses it to manipulate but can form genuine relationships. She is emotionally alienated, unable to love consequence of patriarchal system. She resists traditional roles but becomes isolated. Misservice perpetuates patriarchal control by denying stellar freedom, showing how fetichism can reinforce oppression. Core issues feminist impact. 5 core issues classical literature. 1. Women's representation, visibility versus invisibility, reduced to stereotypes. 2. Gender roles limited to the file wife versus maiden of editress. 3. Objectification. Woman is object of desire of commodities. 4. Lack of agency. Powerful like solve their own destiny. Oh, five merits sexuality. Merits as transformation sexuality denied control. Impact of feminist importation, refining the literary canon, redefining women's agency, uncovering hidden narratives, influencing contemporary literature, creating with critical dialogues about gender. Feminist criticism identifies five core issues. Issue. In classical literature, women are reduced to stereotypes, confined to limited gender roles like beautiful wife or seductress, objectified as commodities like agency over their destiny, like Desdemona and Ophelia, and their marriage and sexuality are tightly controlled. The impact of feminist reinterpretation has been performed. It referenced the literary canon by challenging patriarchal narrative, and including forgotten mom writers, highlight women agency by revealing moments of resistance and converse hidden narrative of marginalized authors influence contemporary writers like this and Elliot, and critics critical dialogues encouraging readers to question gender norms in literary and society. Conclusion and contribution. Enduring relevance, classical texts remain relevant for modern gender discussion, draw feminist tone, complexity of experience. Elizabeth Bedmona is the loss of diverse of women's response to patriarchy, and this understanding feminist criticism challenge traditional readings the marginalized woman. Fundamental transformation feminism has challenged literary studies, canon, and academic agenda. For calculation, classical texts remain relevant through feminist lens. Elizabeth Desdemona Stella saw the first response to patriarchy. Feminist criticism, understanding, and challenge traditional readings. Feminism has transformed literary studies. For sociology or literature reflects and shapes social values, text revisit patriarchal structure. Characters solve negotiation with social constraints. Feminist criticism contributes to social change. By applying feminist theory to classical texts, we bright past the present for gender equality social. This this telling and thank you.